Welcome to Live from the United, a new series presented by the United Theater in Westerly, Rhode Island. I'm Tony Nunes, Artistic Director of the United. On each episode, we'll be interviewing artists, arts and nonprofit leaders, and interesting people throughout our region. We'll also showcase live musical performances, live readings, and looks behind the scenes of artists at work, as well as some of the work happening here at the United Theater, which you can tell is a work in progress.
I'm Lisa Utman-Randall, the Executive Director of the United Theater, and right now I'm standing in one of our storefront spaces in the theater. This space will soon become the South County Bureau for the Public's Radio, Rhode Island's NPR member network, and a beacon for public service journalism in the region. For this episode, we invited the Public's Radio president, Torey Malatia, into this space, and I talked with him about his vision for this bureau and why storytelling plays such a critical role in journalism today. Torey Malatia, welcome to the United Theater.
Thank you.
You are welcome. This is a space that we are going to be spending lots of time together in once we finally open. So, you have been described as a rock star of the public radio space. You ran the iconic public radio station WBEZ in Chicago for many years until 2013. You created This American Life with Ira Glass. You have had an incredibly successful career in public radio. So I am curious, how did we get so lucky to get you here in Rhode Island running our public radio station?
Well, that's nice of you to say. I'm drawn to this because I like the power of stories. And what happens, I think, often is that you develop vehicles, ideas, and they end up becoming sort of their own little world. And pretty soon, you get away from stories. You find yourself mostly just doing the work that is successful, and you stop looking for new things. And what I loved about talking to the people here who are on the board of directors of the station is that they care about the stories that are untold, that are all around us. And for me, that's like the core of the mission. So if you can do that, you'll never, ever run out of ideas. And I found that really a powerful motivator to come back to basic storytelling in the best sense of the word. Because we all learn from each other through expressing something about ourselves that makes me feel like I now understand you better. And radio can be very powerful in doing that, and it's what I enjoy doing. So I just really wanted to do it, and they felt that that was the best use of this institution.
That's great. And is that a shift in your perception about the mission of public radio since the time that you started in public radio?
Well, I think when you start out in broadcasting is, essentially in the United States is based on sort of a commercial model. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way that commercial media is orchestrated is to create, to super serve niches, So, it could be as simple as this is going to be a station that plays country music, or this is going to be a station that is sports talk, or whatever it might be. So the whole notion is that the station has something to offer a certain segment of the consumer public. Public radio really isn't about that. It's really more about what is the public talking about right now, and what can we best do to supplement the other things that are out there that people are looking for. So in a way, it's sort of finding a way in which you can serve that unserved need inside audiences. Well, in order to do that, you have to get really close to your audience, because you won't know unless you ask.
Right.
It doesn't come from your head, it comes from the public's need. And so you have to stay close, you have to listen to people. And the more people you listen to, the richer that palette of stories and ideas and music and arts and everything that you're reflecting in that community comes into the product that you're creating. It's a much more genuine kind of service, because instead of us creating a product and hoping there's a consumer base for it, we're actually going first to the public and finding those things that people have always wanted to hear and always wanted to enjoy. So for me, yes, it is an evolution from the old way media was created, and to an extent it's still created. But I think the time has come for that kind of use of media, all kinds of media, so that people really feel that they're being heard.
And I know you're very strategic and intentional in thinking about the vision for the Public's radio. So why Westerly, and why the stories of Westerly?
Well, it's first of all, this is an amazing community with unbelievable stories, and I think that in any state one can find communities like this. But the fact is that you have to say, we're going to stop here and we're going to dig deep and find what we can. And Westerly has this incredibly rich background. It's a sort of multi-cultural kind of community. It's also socioeconomically, it's actually a very varied community, and it has this rootedness in the history of New England, but also the history of immigrant New England. And I think that as a result, it has many different layers of background and richness to explore. The other thing is that right now, Westerly really is in a position where it's sort of a kind of central pivot position here between Connecticut and the rest of Rhode Island. And then it has a tremendous connection to multiple states in this area. So there's so much going on. There's a vast and rich artist community. There's a great performing arts history here that's still very vibrant, and there's a kind of spirit of rebuilding that I think is very positive here. It has its problems. Every community does, but there's a lot of caring on the part of the people who are here, and as long as people care, problems can be solved. And part of what we do is just tell those stories and help people understand what's going on and what the potential solutions are, and allow them to feel that they can have a role in that.
Well, I know when we've talked to people that have come in for tours, or we run into people on the street, people are very, very excited that the Public's radio is going to be here embedded in the United Theater. I think people see it as a way of shining a wonderful light on this community and paying some attention to this southern part of the state. And I think that people are going to be really surprised by some of the stories that come out of it, that are already coming out of it. So it's exciting. We can't wait to get started.
Yeah.
There are so many ways that we can collaborate with the Public's radio, having you right here. We're very excited about being able to do live streaming through the radio when we have performers here. That's going to be amazing. And we've talked a little bit about having educational partnership as well, and doing podcast workshops for all ages and that kind of thing. What else do you see as possible here, and what's exciting to you about being at the United Theater?
Well, first of all, the whole notion of having a community space like this is that it really is not intimidating. This is not. If I were to go into downtown Providence or downtown Boston and walk into a newspaper, or walk into a major radio station, radio television operation, whatever, I'd walk into an office. There'd be a receptionist. There'd be a whole bunch of people in cubicles. I'd feel like, woo, who am I to talk to these people? And all we have here is a little piece of glass, and some folks working here, just two people maybe. You walk by every day, you see the same people through the glass. They wave at you, you wave at them. You know you can come in and talk to them. There's a sense of intimacy and comfort that this is a place that is really there to do stuff, and that you can be part of it. You can be part of that discussion. So doing that opens the door to all sorts of opportunities. People are much more likely to come in and tell their stories, or to try a podcast or whatever, when they don't feel that they're doing it with a kind of bureaucracy, but they're doing it with a couple people that they know and trust. That's important because in order to increase the number of local journalists, and I mean serious journalists, but I also mean cultural journalists, people writing and expressing what's going on so that we can all share in that knowledge. That's what journalism's about. In order to do that, we have to get more people feeling like they're capable of doing it.
And I think, too, having
Yes.
this right here and having so many young people within
Yes.
this space, whether they're here to take a music class or they're here to see a movie or they're here specifically to do something with the radio station, there are jobs and career opportunities and ideas that they don't even know exist within journalism and broadcasting that they're going to be exposed to by having this located right here. And we have Alex Nunes coming in.
That's right.
And he is part of this community already.
Yes.
And known and well respected. So I think that goes back to what you were saying about people feeling comfortable coming in here.
Right.
And that's really part of what we're doing here at the United, which is making sure that we have a space where we have world-class performances, we have incredible educational opportunities, but it's in a space that is accessible and open to the public and makes people feel comfortable to walk into.
Right.
And I think that this is going to help because
Yes.
everyone can relate to the radio.
And what I love about the way in which you're conceiving this center of vibrancy is that every aspect of cultural expression has both its big and its little place. So if you're interested in a big performance, you have a big performance.
Right.
If you're interested in a more intimate performance, that's here too. If it's so intimate that you'd like to learn how to perform yourself, you can do that too. It's like there's a range here that sort of makes it, depending on your mood, you can do anything you want to do. And I think that, again, is very welcoming. And the whole point here is that people in communications or the arts are fundamentally half of the experience. Like if you're a painter, half of the experience is doing the piece. The other half is exhibiting the piece.
Right.
If you're a musician, same thing. Somebody listening is what you're after. Here, what we do, same thing. We're gathering stories, but unless those stories are heard and they're appreciated in some way, it's only half the experience.
Right.
The United, I think, is made to offer people the opportunity to be the other half, whatever they choose to do that day. Are you the other half of a music performance, the other half of watching a great film? Are you the other half of seeing some visual art or learning how to play instruments or whatever it might be? And that makes you feel important, It's whether you feel you have artistic talent or not, you're part of art. And I think that's really admirable in the design of this place.
I could not have said that better myself. I think we're going to use that as a promo
Oh,
for the
okay.
United, for sure. Well, I think it gets to process also.
Yes.
And I think people are fascinated by process, and we all listen to the radio. I mean, I will admit that I don't quite know how it works, radio waves or whatever, but we all listen to it and we're familiar with it. But how does it actually function and operate? And so for people to be able to walk in or walk by and see it functioning and operating, and they may be coming from the restaurant into the theater to see a performance and peek in and say, oh, I get it, get a little bit of an insight, but then also to be able to have ways to, through education and through workshops, to invite people in to learn more about the mechanics of a radio station, I think will be really fascinating. Fits with our mission. I'm sure it fits with your mission as well, for sure.
The other thing that we hope to be able to offer the United is the opportunity to archive material. You talked about streaming and live broadcasting. That's all true and wonderful.
Yeah.
But not everything needs to be broadcast, but a lot of it can be captured. And by capturing it, there can be this wealth of lectures and speeches and music performances and theater and other things that has a kind of library, that is what the United has been able to present, that I think can be then used in other ways for reference, for scholarship, but also for enjoyment. And we hope to be able to help there. I think a lot of the technical equipment that we're bringing in here will allow that to happen if you'd like it to happen.
Yes, please.
So I think that there's many ways that this can be part of the heartbeat of what the United is, as well as be what our mission calls for it to be, which is, of course, a community resource for understanding each other and sharing the achievements as well as the issues that we are all dealing with.
And I think that's part of what's going to be so exciting about this partnership is as time progresses and we start working in the same space together, we'll come up with a myriad ideas.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll have no shortage of ideas of things that we can do to help your organization, you to help our organization, and really create a true partnership.
Yes.
Because we want to be there for the public's radio as well and be a space that you can utilize for events that you might want to do or crazy ideas that you have.
Okay. That's all
we'll
fun.
be open to that as well. So I think it's going to be an incredibly exciting partnership, and I think it's going to, not only that, I think it's going to be an incredibly extraordinary thing for this community. I think people are really going to grow and learn about their own community. I think connections are going to be formed that they wouldn't have conceived of prior. Yeah. So we're very, very excited about you being here. I did want to ask you just a little bit about how, from the outside in, it seems as if radio would be easy to do it during a pandemic and social distancing because it's all about hearing and recording, but it's probably a little bit more complicated than that. So how is that whole transition into the COVID-related regulations then for you all?
Well, you're quite right. Technically, it's not an issue. But again, this is especially if what you're attempting to do is to collect stories and narrative from people as opposed to just facts.
Right.
Facts are important, don't misunderstand, but you also want to know the context of those facts, what's behind that, how do people feel about those facts, and so on. Well, that, again, people, I think, respond better when you're able to look at them, as you and I are sitting here, and be able to just talk to them about it. To do that over a phone or to do it on a video screen or whatever takes some of that away, and it does make it more difficult. What we found is that as long as we can mix that up a little bit, so in some cases we actually are in the field and we actually are socially distanced and wearing masks and asking questions just so we have eye contact with people. And in other cases we use, telephone or Zoom or something like that in order to get the material we have. But we found that the most frustrating thing is that a lot of that has to be sacrificed because of this. Appropriately so. I'm just saying that it just means that we have to work a little bit differently. It's something that I think might become a little bit, we might get into the rhythm of it a little more than we have so far. But I actually kind of long for the day when we can talk to each other again. Because it's really a powerful thing when people can just express each other, look at each other's faces, look at their body language. Words have weight, and sometimes you can tell by what you say and the way somebody instantly reacts to that when you've chosen the right word, the wrong word, or you've hit on something where there's a deeper story. And you miss that when you're doing it distantly.
And it's interesting because as you're saying all this, I'm thinking that even though this is on, when we're listening to radio, we're not seeing all this, but you hear it. So even though we're only listening to it and we wouldn't have seen all that interaction anyway, we're missing something as an audience as well. Right. So I think we're all ready to get back to hanging out together.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
so
much for doing this.
Sure.
We are, as I said, so excited to have the Public's Radio here at the United. We can't wait to be open, and we can't wait to co-create with you.
Yes, same here. Okay.
Right now, I'm standing inside our sister venue, the Knickerbocker Music Center, right here in downtown Westerly. And I'm very excited to introduce our first musical act of the Live from the United series, Westerly's own Big Lux.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Big Lux. I'm a hip-hop violinist out of Westerly, Rhode Island. I'm here at the Nick, getting it. My crew, you be showing your whole ass. You got it backwards, man. We call it an asshole. You step on the wrong toes, you get what you pay for. I never raised stock, it didn't no barn burning. I will protect my plot, you find out in a hurry. My beats drip like the old man's spittle, going straight to your ear with the sound of the fiddle. Same fiddle made of gold that I want the devil. Cook that like a stew in a kettle. Handle anyone who think they're ready for action. Demand a satisfaction, I will do with the passion. Running circles around you while you grasp for answers like you smoke too many packs and I come with the cancer. Running circles around you while you grasp for answers like you smoke too many packs and I come with the cancer. Now I'll never covet what another man has. Two sides of the fence both have the same grass. I can't help it if your girl keeps looking. Rumor downtown, that's some good home cooking. Ha! Do you want that action? Yo, look on your face says no. I'm right over here, I'm ready to go. It's like, ha! Do you want that action? Yo, I thought you should know. I settle my scores with the strings and a bow. Yes, do you want that action? Man, you don't want that action. Forget you, I'm gonna be out here at the Nick on the dance floor, getting it. What another man has, two sides of the fence both have the same grass. I can't help it if your girl keeps looking. Rumor downtown, that's some good home cooking. Ha! Do you want that action? Yo, look on your face says no, but I'm right over here, I'm ready to go. It's like, ha! Do you want that action? Yo, I thought you should know. I settle my scores with the strings and a bow. Yes, do you want that action? Man, y'all don't want that action. Westerly, stand up. Y'all want that action? I know y'all do, man. We be back soon. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Bowing it, rocking it, rolling it, killing it. All of my skills are so damn deliberate. If I chose this life, then y'all are just witnesses. But life chose us, so together we live in it. Original hip-hop, stomping a clap. We bring it full circle when we rocking the bluegrass. No one in this industry is stopping me. Get out the way and join the team, please believe.